Hello and good evening, NRL and racing fans the world over. Welcome to the semifinal round of the NRL's fourth season, and we have reached our elimination round for Division A and B across both days. My name is Toon, and I am accompanied by two gents that I couldn't be happier to share a booth with. They're, of course, Slow-Mo and Leo. Slow-Mo, how are you feeling? We only have one round after this.
Toon, great to be here. Always excited to be here in the booth for the Naughty Racing League. We got Subarus tonight. I mean, I couldn't be more excited to see some Subarus out there running. Both races, A and B, are going to be absolutely exciting tonight, and I cannot wait to see us get into them.
Let's see. How about you, Leo? How are you feeling?
Man, I'm stoked again for this one. It's the season, semifinal. Who can't be stoked? And in the Subaru, they always provide good racing on road, off road. I can't wait to see what these guys are going to do, and also the race A on a beautiful track as well.
Yeah, I agree with you. Well, let's go and take a look at the standings post Stewart inquiries. Now, once again, everybody, this is the elimination round, and so all the points are going to matter here. So starting with our Division B standings, leading the pack right now for Friday is Cyrus Nicky GT with a whopping 44 points, but also tied with Racer 51. Oh, I'm saying this is actually across both days. My apologies. Taking P3 is Parquet with 33 points, followed by Thumpy 2016 with 31, with PHG Lead Pencil with 25 points rounding out our top five, followed by Deputy Fishtail 21, Angry Fred Bird with 18, Racecraft 01 with 17, Jesser with 16, Bells and Lewis in a tie with 15 points, Papa with 14, RSR Zilla with 13, as well as Bandit with 13. Making our way down the grid, we also have Redneck, Skellington, and Rowdy Rooster in a three-way bout with 12 points, followed by Stumpy, MD Hop, and Sugar Shuffles tied for P19 with 8 points, followed by Horn of Plenty and PHG Captain Thunder with 6. Then we have Salamander MM with 5, followed by PHG Fenrir, BHR Johnny Boy, RWB Buck Wild, and Sweet Lou Sanus. And rounding out our Division B drivers across both days is P. Ruzzle. Making our way over to Division A. Currently leading the charge is Wid with a whopping 41 points. But Moose over on Saturday is quite close behind from that division lead by only trailing by 4 points. We have Chief Apollo with 36 points rounding out our top 3 so far for Division A, followed by the Kai and Lisa Salters rounding out our top 5. We have Talon with 25, Lacabra 809 with 24, PHG Banana with 22 and P8, with GLK Sneaky taking home 21 points at the moment, followed by Detruce Serum with 20 points rounding out our top 10. We have a tie for P11 with Boku and Purple Perf 44 with 18 points, followed by MMR Supa Uber Beast, Velvet Thunder, also known as Tuzumbox, PHG SPC in P15 with 10 points, followed by Filmora, and MK, who is in a tie with PHG Caper with 8 points for P17, followed by Ando, PHG Shaggy Doo, Arrow, who is actually tied with PDX Varial for 4 points, followed by PHG Japan with 2 points. Spawn, we have BHR Polias Pangolin, Island Grown 777, Darken Asriel, and RWB Nav rounding out our grid for Friday and Saturday A with Nopois. Now, with all that said, let's go and take a look at the race details for our Division B race. We're going on over to beautiful Italia, where our drivers will be racing at Sardinia Road Track Layout C Reverse for 23 laps in the Subaru WRX STI Isle of Man 2016 time trial car. They'll have a 10-minute qualifier, grid start with false start check, heavy mechanical damage, 5 times fuel, or 5 times tire, 2 times fuel, my apologies. they have the racing softs and the racing mediums available, and the required tire is the racing softs. So we will see a little bit of variance in strategy here. Now, making our way over onto the points, we will leave you in the trusty hands of Slow-Mo to explain how it all works. Slow-Mo?
Thank you so much, Toon. So again, we're doing the F1 style points here for the league. And the race winner for tonight is going to get 25 total points added to their point total to try and get themselves a place in the coveted finals. Second place gets 18 points, third place 15, and so on down the line. You can see that on the screen there. Don't forget, the fastest lap also gets a bonus point. However, they have to finish in the top 10 for them to accumulate that fastest lap point. The top 14 drivers from both Friday and Saturday will be awarded a spot in the coveted final.
Thank you so much, Slow-Mo. You are a delight. Making our way over to the driver lineup, we have for Friday Division B, Deputy Fishtail, PhD Skellington, Louise, PhD Papa, PhD Salamander MN, PhD Fenrir, Redneck C137, Thumpy 2016, PhD Bells, Sugar Shuffles, Stumpy, Racer 51, Rowdy Rooster, and RWB Buck Wild 76. Listed under their names are their team affiliations or free agencies, and their YouTube and Twitch accounts should they be applicable to the drivers. Feel free to go and see if any of these drivers are streaming and get a nice little onboard look with them, but please make sure to leave this tab unmuted so you do not miss any of the racing action. Boy, oh boy, it's already elimination round. This season flew by too quick. What do you think, Leo?
I definitely think so, Toon. It seemed like I went to sleep and all of a sudden we're already here. It's crazy to think about. Either the racing has been that great or I just have a bad perception of time.
It could be a bit of both. I'm not sure. Slow-Mo, you and I have been here since day one. When do you think we'll get, a 52-week NRL season?
No, 52-week. Wow. I don't know that we're going to see that. That may be something to shoot for the future. That's a long season for these guys. I know the amount of practice that goes into some of the preparation for just 1 week. So, these guys really, man, one thing you don't necessarily see is some of the hours and hours of endless practice that these guys are putting in leading up to the races to be able to compete against each other here. So 52 weeks, that's a long season, buddy.
I know, but anyway, let's see if that practice paid off as we jump on board with our drivers who are in their 10-minute qualifier. We are currently riding on board with the proprietor of Team PhD, Papa himself. And he is leading a little bit of a gaggle of cars. He's got Racer 51 right behind him, and it looks like Rowdy Rooster as well. Now, Slow-Mo, you and Leo both jumped in this car. Yeah. And Leo and I remember this car from when I held the exhibition series before season 2. And one of my fondest memories was McNaughty and RJ, Sugar Shuffles, racing Watkins Glen in reverse. And I'm not talking a reverse layout. I'm talking they threw the car into reverse and raced each other.
Epic.
Yeah, but how did this car feel on the circuit for you, Slow-Mo?
I love a Subaru. Always have, always will. This car's got a ton of power. It's got a lot of traction, but you only have traction until all of a sudden you don't. There's a couple of spots on this track where that car just wants to float from one side of the track to the other. And man, you just got to maintain your control as best you can. Brake a little bit early in the right places. But I think the most important thing for these guys tonight is this car also has DRS. So as you get on that straight, you can smash on that button. You get that fan on the back to change positions a little bit, which reduces the drag for the vehicle. And you can pick up a little bit more speed going down the straight using it.
All right, I gotcha. Hold on, I just realized that this is C reverse, so this is going to be rather torturous on the tires, isn't it, Leo?
Yes, it is actually, too. Did quite a bit of practice with these guys last night, and going into it, I was like, okay, that's not bad. 5 times tire wear. It is torturous on them. The softs only last maybe 7 laps.
Yeah.
Now there is also, they can also use the medium tires, so we'll see a little bit of strategy play out with that. I've even seen some guys use the medium tires in the qualifier to get their quicker time.
Well, speaking of tires, it looks like Racer 51 is going into the pits, and Sugar Shuffles is taking in the scenery at the moment. Let's go and take a look at what happened. So here we have Sugar Shuffles, who is a free agent on the Logitech G29. Current overall standings is P19. You can find him on YouTube at Sugar Shuffles. Looks like the car just got a little bit squirrely and he careened off into the gravel, but there was no damage. So just get back on track and shake off the dirt on those tires, and job's a good one.
And Toon, while Sugar Shuffles was doing that, Thumpy went ahead and put up a 52.1, which is really, really fast around this track.
These were very short laps. Okay. So I do recall Leo saying that we might see some 51s. How far into the 51s do you expect we'll get, though, Leo?
I would, if I had to guess, probably around the 51.8 mark, maybe 51.7. People I've seen do it is, of course, PHG Thumpy. Racer 51, maybe? I'm not 100% sure, but I know for sure I've seen Thumpy get into the 51s, high 51s, so.
Okay, so we'll definitely see some pretty insane racing. We're jumping on board right now with PHG Fenrir in the Mothers Against Drunk Driving livery. Great to see the drivers in this league showing support for real-life causes. He's a part of Team Papa's House of Game on the Fanatec DD Pro, current overall standing P24, and you can find him on YouTube at Viking_Wolf73. Now, I am noticing here the gap from P1 to P7 at the moment isn't even a second. So, and it looks like the gap for Fenrir to Thumpy is about to get a tenth smaller if he carries this momentum. This is going to lead me to pose a question. Are we in for yet another insanely close race, Slow-Mo?
Oh, I think it's going to be, by the time they get to the end of the race, they'll spread out just a little bit. But I think based on what I saw in practice last night, that you're going to see a pretty good group of cars running together.
All right. Well, I can't wait to see how this shakes up. Now, Leo, as you're going through the grid on your end, anybody sticking out to you? Anybody on an absolute heater right now?
As I'm looking through, I was just seeing guys burning off fuel. They're just trying their best to keep the car under control with the tire wear going down. I'm certain here in the next couple of minutes, we're going to start seeing people really pick up the pace. As we got Papa in the pits, Salamander MN, Sugar Shuffles. I wonder if they're just burning fuel to get the car as light as possible at this point in time.
I too am curious, and given how these races have gone over the entirety of this season, I would not be surprised if we see another last-second upset. We had one last week, we had one in round 2, or we had one in round 1, so I'd be surprised if we don't have any last-minute chicanery as we jump on board with Rowdy Rooster, who is a free agent using the Logitech G Pro wheel, currently P15 overall, so right on the cusp of advancing to the finals. One really good performance in this race, and Rooster will have that coveted spot in the grand finals. Now, should throw out that all the drivers that make it to the finals will have a chance to win a cash prize that is funded by all of you watching at home, the viewers. So any super chat, super stickers, Swiss bank account transactions to McNaughty, all goes right into this league for the prize pool for our drivers, and also to compensate our stewards for any overtime they have to do should it arise. As we see Stumpy come across the line, about half a second down on his personal fastest lap, so he's going to be on P10 for a little bit. Dodgy exit out of the pit from Racer 51, it seems. But Stumpy is a free agent, currently running a controller. Good old came in the box factory issued. Current overall standing is P18, and you can find him on YouTube at StumpyGT. And it looks like Stumpy is just gliding around here. Only 600s down, yeah. Couple nailed apexes, and that's gonna be a new fastest lap. Seems the gap from P1 to P10 is just over a second, so yeah, this is gonna be a ridiculously close run. And Racer 51 goes sideways. As we see Stumpy coming on down the hill, going to be carrying quite a bit of momentum. Will Stumpy be able to set a new fastest lap? And he does with a 53.085. Let's go get a replay and see what happened to Racer 51. So here we have Racer 51 in tow behind Stumpy. Let's see where it went wrong. Coming in, looks like got on the curb.
Outbroke himself, dude.
But hey,
that section's tricky. That car is going to shift left to right on you, and if you're in the wrong place when it's doing it, it's sending you right. That's what's going to happen.
Yeah, that is. I mean, it's still just a fun car, regardless. Yeah, you gotta fight it a little bit with the weight transfer, but I'm dying on the hill that this is an amazing little car.
You know, to that point, Toon, I'll agree with you on that one. One thing I did notice when I was practicing with these guys is that around this track, actually using the brakes might hurt you more. So letting off and let the car fully rotate is the best move I could come up with to keep it under control.
Ooh. Papa getting a little squirrely out of turn one. So what you're saying is lift and coast is probably the best course of action for this?
I would say so. It's almost like driving the Super Formula cars, where you need to kind of like lift in order to get around the corner a little easier.
I think Papa's proving you wrong, because Papa just went 500s purple, and he is absolutely chucking this thing in there.
Okay, I guess he did.
Yeah, Papa's just throwing this thing around like the rag doll, and it is just coming together magnificently. Will he be able to secure P1 as he comes across the start-finish line? If he doesn't, he does have enough time for one more hot lap, as we got 20 seconds remaining. Just a 10th down. Let's see if Papa can replicate what he did and piece it all together. Coming into turn one, staying close on this run, and then running out wide. Okay. Revving the daylights out of this car, which, good on ya. And yeah, just throwing it in there, downshifting to the fourth. It goes purple by 700ths. Yeah, so it looks like the play is to just absolutely send it on in there. Tires be damned. Coming into the tricky little S is where we saw Racer 51 lose control. Will Papa maintain? Yep, Papa does, and gets on that throttle early and belts it on out. Making the way to start-finish straight for the last time. Will it be enough? 51, 52. Oh, so close.
It's just
300.
Yeah.
Oh, and I just spotted a $20 donation from PSG Duke Thunder. Thank you, Duke. Let's see what it says here. Added to the pot. Thanks, McNaughty, and all participants to make this work. Cheers. Good luck, racers. Thank you so much for that, Duke. It's greatly appreciated.
Thanks, Duke. And I'm going through the grid. I think everybody has finished their qualifying session.
All right. 300ths of a second. That's almost bumper to bumper. My goodness. Oh, what a qualifier we had, Leo.
Yeah, you could say that again. I mean, 300ths of a second is on the bumper of Thumpy. So Papa's going to have to maintain that pressure on Thumpy in order to make something happen. And of course, all the other guys did great too.
I was going to say, if you look down the grid from Thumpy to Papa to Racer, 1 through 5 are separated by hundredths.
Oh, they are.
Oh, they are.
Wow.
Yeah, this is a close one. Yeah, P1 through 8 is separated by not even half a second.
Oh boy.
My goodness, yeah, we're in for a cracking race tonight. But let's go and take a look at those classified qualifying results, shall we? So, taking pole and hanging on by a thread, given Papa's performance, will be PSG Thumpy 2016, who had the fastest lap overall with a 52.1 dead. Followed by Papa, who gave it a mighty effort, but unfortunately wasn't able to piece it all together and came in P2 by 300ths of a second. Followed by Racer 51, who's not even a 10th down from P1, 900 separating them. Followed by Sugar Shuffles, Salamander MN rounding out our top 5. followed by Rowdy Rooster, Deputy Fishtail, PHG Fenrir Evil, Stumpy in P9, PHG Bells in P10, and rounding out our starting grid will be PHG Skellington. And they're separate, that's barely over a tenth. So yeah, we're in for some insanely close racing. Oh, and it appears we got another $20 donation from RSR Zilla that says, let's go. Thank you so very much, RSR Zilla, on behalf of all of us here at the NRL. It is very, very much appreciated. Now, Leo, I'm going to kick it over to you because I have a feeling you had the most practice in this car with all of the drivers. Given what you've seen with the qualifying results, how close do you think this race is going to be?
They're going to be bumper to bumper, and that honestly gives me so much anxiety because I have been bumper to bumper with a few of these guys in the practice races that we did do yesterday. And I'll tell you what, if you're not on point with your apexes, your exits, your braking points, both of you are going to go sliding off the track and or just catastrophic failure of everything.
I got you. So I suspect pit strategy is going to be a huge factor in all of this. What do you think, Salemo?
I do. I'm really anxious to see who's starting on which compound and how these guys are going to work their strategy throughout the race. Like Leo said, you're not getting a whole lot of laps out of those soft compounds. So, you know, when do you want to have those on the car? Do you want them in the beginning? Do you want them in the end? I think that's going to be a question we're about to see the answer to. Maybe you've got somebody who goes soft, soft, soft. I don't know. Is it possible to see a two-stopper?
Honestly, only time will tell, but let's go and take a look and see how the drivers are mentally preparing for this. Everybody's at the start-finish line, foot on the brake, revving the engine, just waiting for those lights to go on. This is for all the marbles. One good result here will send you up to the finals, and we had one jump the line at P3, and they are off. Looks like Racer 51 may have jumped the line a little bit, and oh man, catastrophic start in the back of the field. But looks like Thumpy will hold on to P1 for the time being and has just everybody in tow. Will Papa, and Papa sends it up the inside. Okay, we're already off to the races, figuratively and literally. Coming up into the uphill S's, how is Thumpy going to respond to this? He is staying rather close to Papa right now, but it looks like Papa is just absolutely sending that car away. Slama, quick question for you. Is there a tire compound difference between Papa and Thumpy? Because I see Thumpy is on the mediums at the moment.
They're both on the mediums.
Oh, they are? Okay, so looks like Papa's just driving with a little bit of gusto. As we jump on board with Rowdy Rooster, who has Salamander right behind him, and looks like Salamander is really leading the charge. See what's going to happen with Sal and Rowdy. Looks like Sal is trying to hold on to some slipstream for the time being, going up into turn one. Will Sal try and make a move? He will not. Looks like Sal's able to get the car rotated just a little bit more, but was slowed down just a tiny bit, and that gives Sugar Shovels the opportunity to jump on the opportunity to possibly make an overtake. Coming up into the uphill section for the second time of asking, and Sal is going to have quite a bit of defensive driving to do because one missed apex, one bad run out of the corner, and it's not one position he's going to lose, it's going to be several. Sugar Shuffle eyeballing Salamander at the moment. Sal getting a little squirrely as they come into the off-camber corner. But I don't actually think it was off-camber. I don't know what I'm talking about. But looks like Sugar Shuffle's falling a little behind, and that will give Stubby the opportunity to run too wide with him onto the start-finish straight. Who is going to win this little drag race? As we jump on board with Skellington, who has got a good perspectives there, almost three abreast coming into turn one. Will Skellington have an opportunity to make an overtake stick, running a little on the outside, wheel-to-wheel action, getting a little squirrely, but is able to save it. Unfortunately, losing a bit of placing, and Bells just shoots it up the inside, and Skellington is off with a 1.5 second penalty along with Bells. I don't know if there was contact for that, but we might need to see a replay. Oh my goodness. Let's go and get a quick look at the race restart. I'm getting word from production, false alarm. As we jump on board with Racer 51, who did have a less than stellar beginning to this race. Leo, we've already had quite the spectacle for the first opening, like for the first 4 laps. Oh, and it looks like Skellington has gone into the box to repair that damage. So as how's everybody else faring right now as you're cycling through the grid?
Tunas, I am doing that. I am just seeing Congo line after Congo line, and just decently given room, but it's always anxiety-inducing right now because they're just next to each other, not holding anything back. I wouldn't expect anything less for a semifinal race. I mean, these guys have got to give it all to get to that final.
That they do, and they are driving with a lot of gusto. They are absolutely sending it. We saw an insane near miss between Bells and Racer 51. We've seen, we've just seen people sending it left, right, and center. They know what's on the line at this point, so they're racing with everything in them. Let's just hope that they don't lose their wherewithal and wind up causing any problems. As we jump back over to Sugar Shuffles, who is kind of in a bit of a sandwich right now, because you got Rowdy Rooster in front of him, Salamander in front of him as well, but Stumpy is right up his chuff too. So we've got essentially a 4-way battle for the last podium spot, and we're only 5 laps in. This is getting absolutely insane, and it's unraveling quickly. What do you think, Slow-Mo?
I think it is. This middle pack, there is a lot of battling to do. One thing that I did notice, though, if you look at Thumpy and Papa, the gap between Papa and number 3 and Rowdy is almost 5 seconds now. Stumpy and Papa are just leaving everybody behind them.
Wow. All right. Well, we'll have to see how that shakes up. Looks like Rowdy may have outbroke himself a little bit and just sent it into the corner, and that will give Salamander the opportunity to come up and take P3 on the inside. So for the time being, Salamander has that last podium spot, but he can't rest on his laurels yet because pits still haven't came through, and we're only on lap 6 of 23. We're just over a quarter of a way through the race, and I should also bear in mind and agree with TK's. Papa and Thumpy are on mediums right now. That's and correct. Salamander and Salamander's on softs, and I guess it just shows the mediums are definitely better than what they used to be, because P1 and 2 are just pulling away, and we see Sugar Shuffles just set it up the inside on turn 1 and take P4. I think we're going to be seeing Sugar Shuffles and Sal have a couple conversations on track if they keep up this momentum. Sugar Shuffles also racing on the soft with Salamander, so yeah, definitely feasible. Looks like Rowdy Rooster outbroke himself just a little bit into the sharp right-hander. Looks like Sugar Shuffles will be able to pull away just a little bit, but Salamander is also starting to slowly leave Sugar Shuffles in the dust. That gap is up to 9/10. So I think if I'm Sugar Shuffles, I'm going to be sitting there thinking, when's the right opportunity? Will Salamander make a slight mishap? There's a lot of factors going on here. As we jump on board with Deputy Fishtail, who is barely a quarter of a second, almost half a second behind Stumpy at the moment. And yeah, they're staying pretty close behind each other right now. One misplay and you might wind up losing multiple positions. So there's definitely a lot of pressure on these drivers. Wouldn't you agree, Leo?
Oh, I definitely agree. A while back, I was actually watching Deputy Fishtail and Fenrir and everybody else in the back there. He made an absolute send on the inside of turn 1 there and got to P7 a little while back. And that's what kept him going. I guess he's using that momentum to go.
Papa just spun out. P2.
Oh, Papa just spun out. Oh, that's horrible. Papa just fell down into P5 from that spin. P6.
He's down to 6 now.
Let's go and see what happened. All right, so here we have Papa coming around into turn 1. Again, up on the curbing, unsettled the car a little bit. but looks like everything's in order there. Got on the grass. Oh, looks like he hooked the wheels and it just... Oh, hey, he didn't get any damage from it, though.
No damage. Yeah,
but still, that's still a horrible thing to have happen, especially when you're in the fight for the race lead. But luckily, Papa is on the racing medium tire, so should he choose, he could honestly consider going for the overcut and give that a crack, because these are short laps, and that is a very short pit stop from what I can gather. Papa does unfortunately fall from P2 down to P7. He could not be happy about that, but let's jump back on board with Sugar Shuffles, who is in P3 at the moment, and just about a second and a quarter behind Salamander at the moment. The finish coming on up the hill. Sugar Shuffles still keeping line of sight on Salamander, so this little bout definitely isn't anywhere close to being done. Going on through to the... I don't even know how to describe this one. I just call it the tricky corner. It looks like he's able to hold onto it just nice and neatly, and going down into the start-finish straight to start lap 11. Also notice that Sugar Shuffles is still on those racing softs and giving it the beans. I know it's not possible for a no-stopper. Hold on, wait a minute. Hey, Leo, you're really gonna have to hear me out on this.
Okay.
I'm looking at Sugar Shovel's tires, right?
Okay.
We're about halfway through the race. Do you think it would be possible for Sugar Shovels to pull a no-stopper?
If he can manage his tires and not burn them up, I don't know. It'd be cutting it close, but maybe he could get away with it. I mean, they do wear pretty quickly, I'm not gonna lie. It's a bold strategy.
Yeah, also, Leo, I want to just quickly throw, we're on board with Papa right now, and he is driving like a man possessed. He is all over Fenrir. He is getting ready to carry on and try and take P6. Deputy Fishtail goes into the pits. Hopefully, he will repair that damage, what I can only assume he got from the start of the race. And Papa is going to be on the outside of Fenrir, trying to make a slight cutback. No, but it looks like Fenrir did slow Papa down just a teensy bit. But I don't think Fenrir is going to let the owner of his race team through without a fight, or at least make him work for it. And as we see, yeah, Papa is doing everything he can to get around Fenrir at the moment, but Fenrir is saying team affiliation or no, you've got to work for it. This is the semifinals. This is an elimination round. Now, quick question for you, Slim. Oh, Salamander and Sugar Shovels have gone into the pits, so this might be prime opportunity for Papa to start making up some lost ground. But as we're going through this, the pit stops are starting to roll in. Did anybody elect to go on fresh medium, Slow-mo?
Salamander looks like he went from medium to soft. Sugar went from medium to soft. So no, I don't think anybody's gone on a fresh set of mediums right now.
All right, yeah, because I remember Salamander and Sugar Shuffles both starting on the softs. So I think they're just doing the soft strategy. So I mean, this kind of race does afford different opportunities for tire strategy, and Papa sends it up the inside, takes P3. Yep, but he is definitely not out of the woods yet. Thumpy is 17 seconds ahead. Rowdy Rooster in P2 is 6 ahead, so Papa's going to have to really think on the fly, but now that I'm thinking about it, it was the semifinals last season, Red Bull Ring and the Honda 2 and 4, where Papa just kind of sent it and got the race win. Do you think we might see that again, Leo?
Unfortunately not to. With these racing softs required, he's going to have to go on to them at some point, unless he wants to incur the penalty for that. So unfortunately, he cannot just full send it like he did last time.
Well, yeah, but I mean, he still went to the pits. I think he just had like a wildly different pit strategy, and what was it he said? He kind of just went with his gut, and then it paid off in the end?
I believe so, if I remember correctly, that's what he did say.
And Papa's actually just gone on the pit, yep.
and Thumpy has yet to go into the pits, so Thumpy's on some more mediums. But Papa will have 9 laps to run the racing softs as we see Deputy Fishtail side by side with Racer 51 and separated by not even 2,000th of a second. And Deputy Fishtail is able to take the position and secures P5 for the time being. But looks like Racer 51 is isn't gonna take that lion down. Racer 51, and Thumpy has gone into the pits too. Racer 51 all over the back of Deputy Fishtail. I think it's going to be time to see how the defensive driving goes for Deputy Fishtail. Parking it on the apex and running it out. Yep, that was exactly what he needed. So Racer 51's racing mediums are definitely looking a teensy bit worse for wear. Let's go jump on board with Rowdy Rooster, who is in P1 for the time being on some well-loved.
Ben Rear spins out P9. You got on the brakes a little too hard on cold tires.
Let's go and take a look, shall we? So
He's got Papa right behind him.
Ooh. Yep, I definitely see what you mean. It looked like just slammed on the brakes, car got unsettled. Luckily, didn't pick up any damage, so great car control front and rear, and there's still 7 laps of racing left, so it's anybody's game. You guys know what I say. Anything can happen. Now, for those of you just tuning in, hi, good evening, hope you're well. Toon, Leo, Slomo, pleasure to have your company. You join us at the semifinal round for Friday of the NRL, and we hope you've been enjoying the season so far. If this is your first time catching us, where you been? You missed some insane action. After this, go take a look at the previous broadcast. It's a grand old time. We hope you'll stick around. Now, as we jump on board with Sugar Shuffles, who is still about a second behind Salamander, Sugar Shuffles is definitely not going to go down without a fight, and even a P4 will net some, honestly, impressive points. So Sugar Shuffles is actually chipping away at that gap. It looks like... Slomo, what is the way to drive this car? Because I see everybody revving the daylights out of it.
Yeah, revs are your friend in this. You can run this thing really, really high up. God, I want to say 7,500, maybe a little higher. So, you know, you've got plenty of room to rev it out. It loves those high RPMs and just bounces into the next gear. The transmission just throws it into the next gear. It's got actually a really, really fast transmission that just slams the gears up and down.
And Puppy dumps into the wall. Picking up some damage and a 1.5 second penalty, and that is going to be detrimental for our race leader. Well, post pit stop from Rowdy. Let's see what went wrong here. So, just finished turn 1, coming into the S's. Okay, looks like everything is all well and good there, but what happened? Oh, car got unsettled, and also picked up some rear bumper damage too.
Yeah, he got up on the curb, Toon, and it sent that car flying into the wall.
That is not something you want to have happen when you are the race leader, especially with 4 laps remaining, and these laps being so short. A 1.5 second penalty. Who knows how much it'll actually cost you in the long run, but that will definitely buy Salamander and Sugar Shuffles at least some sort of opportunity to try and close that gap a little bit. And it looks like Papa is still fighting his way up the grid as we speak.
It does hold the fastest lap, by the way.
Oh, he does, a 51.779. He would, what? Yeah, Papa's the first person that hit a 51 because nobody hit it in the qualifier, right?
Correct.
Oh yeah, Papa is driving like a man with a vengeance. We see Sugar Shuffles and Salamander come around the final turn, jumping on board with Rowdy Rooster, who is about a 1.5 seconds behind Deputy Fishtail. So a little bit of clean air, but I'm looking at a delta between Rowdy Rooster and Papa is flying. At this rate, it's like you're sitting there in the ocean and you've got just ravenous shark chasing you down. I do not envy anybody that's in the way of the proprietor of PHG right now. Looks like Rowdy is definitely trying to find a way to close that gap to Deputy Fishtail, though, and it is showing. We've only got 3 laps left, and it's anybody's game. It really is. Yeah, what's up?
You know, somebody else who's flying right now is Salamander. He is working to close that gap to Thumpy ahead of him. Thumpy's got damage. Thumpy does have the tire advantage, but he's got front and rear damage. So I think that's playing a big piece in the ability for Sal to be able to try and catch up to him. As you watch the Delta, it's actually climbing a little bit up now. I don't know if he lost a little ground somewhere, but I think he's going to be able to. He's only got, 3 laps left, so he's going to have to really push this car to be able to catch up first place.
He definitely will. There's only 2 laps left, so honestly, even with the damage, I don't know if that'll be enough to maybe make a push for race victory or not. So I don't know. It's too soon to tell. And as we see Thumpy coming around the last corner for the 21st time of asking, and coming onto the start-finish straight, not letting that damage hinder him even in the slightest. Coming across the line with a 53.598. Looks like that damage has taken, about a second and a half almost, give or take, of pace off of him. And looks like Sugar Shuffles is definitely trying to find the opportunity to make the overtake on Salamander, who is driving textbook defensively, mind you. Salamander has not let Sugar Shuffles go, even get the opportunity to try and do an overtake, as we saw Salamander jump onto that apex and hold a defensive line if I've ever seen one. Sugar Shuffles, though, will try his hardest as we are on the penultimate lap for these guys. It's anybody's game. Anything can happen. And, Salamander getting a little squirrely, but was able to maintain control. Will that be enough for Sugar Shuffles to get the overtake done as they are about to go too wide onto the start-finish straight? Oh, thank God this isn't the final lap. Otherwise, I'd be commentating like there's no tomorrow with a drag race. Looks like Salamander will be able to hold onto it just for the moment, or will he? Sugar Shuffles has the insight, and Sugar Shuffles will be able to take P2 off of Salamander. It's the final lap, so will Salamander be able to have enough time to go and right this wrong and reclaim P2? Let's find out. Salamander is definitely trying to find a good opening. These two have been all over each other from the start of the race to now. Sal running a little bit wide, but is able to keep it on track. Thank goodness. I do not want to be responsible for another spin. And coming over into the final corner, one good run is all it takes. Will Salamander get the run he needs as Thumpy comes across the line to take the race win?
Thumpy.
Congratulations.
Oh, right, Thumpy, my bad. And looks like Sugar Shuffles had the better run and will hold on to P2 from Salamander as we see all the drivers starting to file on in. Papa coming across the line, taking P6, PSG, Bells in P7 with a... hold on, wait a minute. I didn't see anybody's fuel that low. What happened to Bells?
That I couldn't tell you, too. It was... Yeah.
Racer 51's front left is absolutely donezo, but the rest of the tires are fine. What on earth happened?
His fuel's pretty low, but it's not as low as Bell's was.
I guess, yeah. And PSG Skellington comes across the line, and that is everyone done and dusted.
What a race.
Man.
Yeah, what a race. Congratulations to PSG Thumpy with the pole position and the clean race. Now let's go take a look at the provisional Division B results. And taking the race win with a total race time of 20 minutes of 43 seconds, .719 will be PSG Thumpy 2016, who had a personal fastest lap of 52.148, almost the same time he set in qualifying, but will not get the honor of the fastest lap point. That will go to Papa in P6 with the 51.779. So following Thumpy will be Sugar Shuffles and Salamander MN rounding out our podium for this evening, followed by Deputy Fishtail in P4, Rowdy rounding out our P5, or rounding out our top 5. As stated before, PSG Papa in P Steve with PSG Bells in P7, followed by Racer 51 in P8. Making our way down the order, we have PHG Fenrir Evil in P9 with a best lap 52.984, followed by PHG Skellington with a personal fastest lap 53.15 seconds. And rounding out our grid will be Stumpy with a DNF. Huh. Well, either way, that was an insane race. Short laps, relatively fast car. There was action, there was drama, there were mishaps. I don't know, Leo. What were your thoughts on that race?
Anxiety inducing, like I said at the start, because everybody was so close together that I was having a hard time tracking who was doing what, besides whose bumper was on who. All in all, I think it was a fantastic race, a good showing from everybody, and you could tell that they were pushing it as hard as humanly possible to get to where they need to in the final.
I got you, Slomo. What are your thoughts on what we just witnessed?
Oh, that was awesome. I mean, like Leo said, these guys are pushing to get their spot in that final. Anything can happen. None of the final positions have been decided. There are a couple people who are in really good place, but anybody had a chance to make that. So this was the race you had to bring your A game and really put it down. And congratulations to our podium winners and those that got some points tonight.
Could not agree more. So let's go and get a word in with our podium finisher, starting with P3 and Salamander MN. Sal, how you doing, man?
Hey, guys. Man, is it good to be back up on the podium again?
Yeah, been a while. Missed you.
It has been. It's been too long.
So I gotta ask, you and RJ too wide. It was a drag race, like starting the final lap, and he just like he sends it up the inside and takes P2 off you. What were your thoughts when you saw him just cruise on by you?
Well, I had a bad exit of the last corner of the lap before, so I knew he was going to have a run on me. And having the inside of turn one is almost like a cheat code. Trying to go around the outside there just doesn't work. So I kind of had. I was hoping maybe I could hold him off, knowing that that was not going to happen. And I was hoping that one of those other corners he would do a bobble and maybe I'd catch him, but he kept it together. I mean, that was a great race with RJ. I stayed ahead of him almost the whole race. I was really hoping to hold him off and get a P2 out of here, but congratulations to him. Congratulations to Thumpy on P1. That was a good race. That one felt good.
Glad to hear it. Slomo, any questions for Sal?
Yeah, Sal, congratulations. It's good to have you back on the podium again. I'm sure that feels good to you as well. I know obviously you put in a lot of practice. Tell me a little bit about the car. How much did you like driving the Subaru?
Honestly, it was quite a bit of fun. It takes some getting used to. It's very slidey. You get off the racing line and you're in big trouble. So you really got to keep it on the racing line.
Yeah.
There's spots where you can take risks and gain some time, but at your own peril. The curbs at this track and with this car are just deadly. You hit them and you lose all traction for like a half a second to a second. So you can hit the wall real quick. But it's a fun drive. It is a really fun drive.
Yeah, congratulations. You certainly made it look easy with the battle there with RJ. That was exciting. Great racing. Leo, what do you got for Sal tonight?
Hey, Salamander. How are you doing, bud?
Leo! I'm doing great.
Man, what an awesome race between you and RJ. Y'all two are the best livery makers and probably the best practicing partners and racing partners I could see. I guess my question would be, what was the strategy going into this? I know the only tire that was required was the softs, but did you think maybe going on the mediums a little bit longer versus the softs would have been a better idea, or vice versa?
I tried the mediums a little bit in practice, and I just couldn't figure them out. My time suffered, anywhere from 3/4 of a second to a second per lap with the mediums, and I proved over multiple practices I could make the all soft strategy work. So I went with it, knowing I needed to throw a Hail Mary in this race anyway. So I did 12, 11 softs the whole time, and it worked. I was comfortable with it. I just knew that I had to take the last lap or two a little easier. But yeah, I'd practiced it enough. I was comfortable with it, and I knew that's what I was gonna do, and it worked.
Yeah, it
Well,
definitely panned out
congratulations.
for you.
Yeah. Well, congratulations, Sal. We'll see where those points put you in the standings, but my God, what an effort. What a race. You go and relax and enjoy the rest of your night. All right, man?
Yeah, thank you guys. Have a good one.
Thank you. You too.
Congrats, Al.
Making our way up the order, let's go and speak with Sugar Shuffles. RJ, how you doing, bud? Uh,
Yo, sorry. You
all
can
good.
tell it's my first time. I struggled getting off mute. Dude, this feels awesome, guys. Thank you for running all of this. Oh man, that felt great. That was such a fun battle with Sal.
Glad you enjoyed it. So, my question for you, because you might recall the day you and McNaughty ran Watkins Glen in that car in reverse gear. How does the car feel now as opposed to what it did when you two were just joking around? And how did that also
Honestly, the only thing I
influence how you
remember about
practice?
that day is going reverse. So everything felt completely new. But I do want the record to be shown, and I've said it in McNaughty's stream before. I did beat him in that reverse lap around Watkins Glen, so just let the record be straight on that.
Yep, that definitely did happen. And Slow Mo, do you have any questions for our P2 recipient tonight?
RJ, congratulations on the podium. Good to have you here with us. We're glad to have you in the booth. Tell us a little bit about your race strategy. Were you happy with the way it played out? Is there anything you would have done different?
To be honest, nothing I would have done different. Basically, almost everything worked out as well as it could. I think I told everybody going into this, we weren't catching Thumpy. The only people who were catching Thumpy are people I didn't see their pace, like Racer 51, the people who were kind of quiet all week. So yeah, I was the same as Sal going in. I couldn't make medium pace work all week in practice, but I could run 2 soft stints just as fast as almost anybody else I could see. So basically everything went to plan other than qualifying. I basically only got a couple laps because I kept putting it in the sand there on the last turn, and I only got a couple hot laps in, but enough to start me up front. So yeah, it all went perfect.
Awesome. Well, congratulations on making this podium. It definitely sets you up for a good place to get into the finals. Leo, what do you have for RJ?
RJ, congrats, man. Glad
Hey,
to see you up here. So you and Sal ran the same strategy, is what I'm understanding what you're saying.
Yes, sir.
All right. So I guess my question would be, how much practice did you put into doing the strat that you did?
Honestly, most of the week I didn't count my hours or my laps, but I quickly tried softs and mediums early in the week, and I couldn't get the mediums to work. And I actually ran a lobby that Cole joined with us from Division A, and Thumpy was out there, and those guys were running mediums, and they were putting up 52s and mediums, and I'm like, I can't touch that, but I can make these softs go 52s almost until the end of the stint. The last few laps, like Sal said, were kind of sketchy. You kind of ease into it, and I was like, I can take a couple 53s because if I'm on mediums, I'm not doing that pace. So, yeah, I gave up pretty quickly on the mediums, and I basically practiced softs all week. It was just soft lap after soft. So, don't know how many hours, but that's basically the mediums can be sold back to the manufacturer. I don't need them.
Fair enough. Well, congratulations, RJ. I hope you enjoyed that battle with Sal as much as we enjoyed watching it. And you go unwind and enjoy the rest of your evening. We've got Division A right after you guys, so you can at least breathe a sigh of relief that all the stress is done on your end.
Awesome. Thanks, guys. Hey, thank you guys for putting this all on. Everybody behind the scenes of McNaughty. It's a great time. So, and congrats, Thumpy.
Well done, RJ. Hope to see you in the finals.
Oh, yeah. Now we'll move on up to our race winner for the evening, and that will be PHG Thumpy 2016. Thumpy, how are you, sir? Uh, Thumpy, I think you're still muted. Oh, well, while we wait for Thumpy to unmute, we just got a $50 donation from Fernando Button. Happy Fun Time Hour. $50. It says, it's that time of season. Good luck to all, but let's see. BHR rule. No offense, PHG. Love you. Okay, so fighting words in the chat, but thank you for the donation. Now, Thumpy, how are you feeling after that race?
That was fun. I thought I killed myself there for a minute.
Honestly, I thought you did too. So what happened to cause the crash and the 1.5 second penalty? Because it looked like you jumped on the curb and then just everything fell apart.
Well, actually, I glanced up at who was behind me, and then, you don't do that in the turn. So, yeah, luckily I hit the second wall and straightened me back out, or it could have been real bad.
Yeah, luckily you didn't also get a 1.5 from hitting that either.
Right. Well, I did get a 2.5, but
yeah,
I didn't get one off the second wall, thank God.
Yeah. So this is an all-important question. How were you feeling when Papa was all over you at the start of that race?
Hey, that's a good point. I thought for sure Papa was going to win this race, and when he ran that fastest lap, that shocked me because he didn't even get close to that in practice. So good job, Papa. Yeah, I thought he had me. I don't know what happened to him. I had to get by. I set a certain pace for myself, and he was kind of in the way. Sorry, Papa.
That's the slow-mo. You got any questions for our race winner?
Yay, Thumpy. PHG, congrats. Great to see a PhD team member here on the podium. I rode along with you on some laps you were doing on practice yesterday, and you just made that Subaru dance around that track. It was really fun to watch. Unfortunately, obviously, you caught the wall a little bit right after your pit stop. Did you ever consider going back in and getting that damage repaired, or did you just decide you were going to run what you brung at that point?
Nope. Two pit stops would have put me in the back, and I couldn't chance that.
Yeah. Well, that was well done. A really well run, executed strategy there. Fun to watch. Congratulations on the podium, Leo. What do you got for Thumpy?
Thank you, sir.
Congratulations, Thumpy. Also, congrats to PhD being on the podium here. I guess my question would be, what was the most difficult part of the car to learn?
Well, the slide. If you can't figure out the slide, you can't keep the speed. And where I wrecked right after that turn right there, if you can't hold your speed there, that one turn will make your lap slow. And it's not the sharp ones, it's that one turn.
Well, good to know. Yeah, I had struggled with that one yesterday while I was practicing with y'all until I figured out, oh, you've got to slide the car instead.
Yep.
Well, again, congratulations. Go get some rest. Sir. See what these guys in A do.
Sugar Shuffles, Salamander, congrats. Thank you guys for doing this. McNaughty, thank you, sir. I was planning on being in the finals one way or the other.
Congratulations, Thumpy. Thank you for your time. And I guess with that vote of confidence, we'll see you in the finals. Thank you for your time and have a great night.
Yes, sir. Y'all too. Go PHG.
All right. Before we go, I should throw out, we did receive a $5 donation from Rowdy Rooster, a little super sticker action. So thank you so much for that, Rowdy. Now, please stay tuned while we get these results all prettied up and get everything else sorted. So, yeah, stay tuned. Grab a snack, grab a drink, use the bathroom, take your dog out, wash your hands, do your dishes, whatever you need to do. And we'll be back at you here shortly. Sit tight. Welcome back, everyone. We just had an absolute cracker of a semifinal race for Division B, and now it's time to go get into the details for our Division A race. So, as we are professionals in traveling the world in record time, we jump from beautiful Italia to the Sunshine State of California to... Actually, no, the Golden State of California. I don't know what I'm talking about. To Grand Valley Highway 1 for 20 laps, where our drivers in Division A will be racing the GTR Nismo GT500 2016 with a 10-minute qualifier, grid start with false start check. They will have the Racing Medium and Racing Hard tires available to them, but the Racing Hards will be the required tire compound. They have 9 times tire and 3 times fuel, mechanical damage set to heavy, and they have brake balance allowed to them. Making our way over to the point standing and back to slow-mo for a quick refresher on how all of this works.
Thank you, Toon. Again, we do the F1 style point system here, so the race winner gets 25 points. Second place is going to get 18 points, third place 15, and down the line from there. The person with the fastest lap, so long as they finish in the top 10, will get an additional point that goes towards their total. The top 14 Division A drivers overall, so both Friday and Saturday, are the ones that are going to move on to the finals. Everybody in this race tonight has a chance to gain a final spot if they're out of the mix or on the hump right now. So anything can happen in the NRL.
That it can, and thank you, Slow-Mo. Making our way over to the driver list for this evening, we have Chief Apollo 11, RWB Nav, Talon, BHG Shaggy-Doo, Detruce Serum, Purple Perp 44, Lacabra 809, Velvet Thunder, also known as Tussumbox, MK, PDX Burial, BHR Polias Pangolin, Wid, Dark and Asriel, and Ando. As always, listed under their names are their team affiliations and or free agencies should they fall into one of those two categories, as well as their YouTube and Twitch information should that be applicable. Feel free to go and take a look at their live streams if they are and get a nice little onboard view, but please make sure to leave this tab unmuted so you don't miss any of the racing action happening on the rest of the field. We had an insane Division B race, and I think we're going to be in for something of a similar caliber for this race for Division A. What do you think, Leo?
Oh, most certainly, Toon. I mean, we're in Group 2 cars, and that Nissan is very fast, very grippy around certain corners. I absolutely love this track sometimes, depending on the group car, and I have done a similar combo to this, and it is fantastic and so much fun. I can't wait to see this race.
I can't wait to see it either. And also, I want to throw out another little fun anecdote from my exhibition chicanery that I did before Season 2. Leo, you might remember on this track, the BAC mono, a certain McNaughty catching air in it after jumping over a traffic cone. Man caught about 20 feet of vertical height, and it was a sight to behold. But anyway, Slow-Mo, what are your expectations for this race?
Well, like Leo said, this car is an absolute rocket ship. It's a great track for it. Beautiful scenery out on the west side. These guys are going to show us how real racing is done here, and they're going to do it with some pretty high top speeds.
Yep, West Coast, Best Coast, baby! But anyway, enough of the chit-chat. Let's go jump on board and see how qualifying is going to shake up as we jump on board with Wid, who is driving in the Visa GTR. Never thought I'd see a Visa livery, but it actually looks rather clean. We're definitely just, I honestly can't make heads or tails of how this is going to go. And it looks like we already have a driver with a half-second track limit infringement, but luckily there is a 10-minute qualifier. We are on board with Wid, who is a free agent racing on the Logitech G29. And looks like has enough points to clinch a spot into the finals, so won't have to worry too terribly much. You can find Wid on YouTube at L2 whatever that says. Wid coming up into the chicane on the back stretch and jumping on up to Talon, who has made his way through the chicane and is heading on into the tunnel. Now, I'm getting word from production that we have received a $10 super chat from Papa. $10 says NRL. That is all. All right. Thank you, Papa. Very, very much appreciated. And Talon will be starting his flying lap coming into turn 1, downshifting like crazy into second and short shifting up into third to maintain grip and belting it on out of there. Talon is a free agent on the Logitech G Pro wheel with the G29 pedal. And Talon just needs 12 points to automatically clinch his seat in the grand final. So we'll see if Talon will be able to secure those 12 points in this race. Coming into the downhill hairpin, tricky little spot, and is holding it nice and neat. Coming through the first time check with a 31.749. Oh, understeering a little bit low. Oh, holding on to the car, but just, my goodness, well done, Talon. Now, as Talon is coming in through the mini tunnel and heading down over towards the bridge, what is gonna happen? Giving a tight line, getting extra rotation in the car, feathering the throttle a little bit, and belting her on out. Talon is definitely out to set a pretty solid lap coming across the first time check with a 105.7. Yeah, I'm expecting a pretty stellar lap time, given how Talon is just moving around this track, making his way into the chicane, avoiding the curb and the pollards as to not get a track limits infringement, and gunning it on out. I'm also noticing those mediums already showing a little bit of wear, even though it's the second lap. So race strategy is gonna be quite interesting for this one, and given the fact that they have the hards, I wouldn't be surprised if we see somebody try to no stop it, as Talon comes across the line with a 149.58, but Wid with a 149.494, and Purple Perp with a 144.94. So yeah, everybody's kind of fallen into place now. Looks like the gap between Chief Apollo and Talon is only 7/100ths of a second. Chief Apollo is a free agent on the Logitech G Pro wheel, and the PSVR 2 headset, that's dicey. Only needs 1 point to clinch his seat in the final. So as long as Chief Apollo finishes in the top 10, he's made it. And you can find Chief Apollo on YouTube at Boyd Gaming. And Chief Apollo is just zooming right now. I am mesmerized here. Yeah, Chief is just absolutely flying, but also has the Truth Serum as well. And looks like the Truth Serum is getting rather close in the rearview mirror of Chief Apollo. What do you think, Leo?
Oh, definitely, Toon. I mean, once you figure out the flow to this track, you almost make it look like you're just gliding around here. And as we're on board with the True Serum going into the tight right-hand turn through the tunnel, you can just see how they're just keeping nice solid lines not to infringe on track limits. Looks like Chief got a little bit better of a run out of there because the True Serum was a little closer than he was a couple seconds ago. See, going through the tunnel here.
It looks like Purple Perp is holding on to that fast. Oh, actually set a new fastest lap of 140.228.
Wow.
And Truth with a 140. Nice. So everybody is definitely falling in order, and Purple Perp has almost a quarter of a second gap to Wid right now. Now, Leo, did you happen to jump in this car at all in the interim between last week and tonight?
Toon, unfortunately, I did not. Reason being, I didn't see that many lobbies. Yes, I could have created my own, but I unfortunately did not get any seat time in this combo.
And, well, I mean, at least you put it up the game. Now, Slow-Mo, if you had to wager any guess as we're going through all of this qualifier, we've got about a little under 4 minutes left, and you are, of course, cycling through the grid. Seeing these guys in action, does seeing this give you any inclination on who you might have a dark horse pick for?
Well, I feel like Velvet Thunder has got some really good pace here. He just hasn't really been able to put his best qualifying lap in just yet. I think there's a big chance for him to jump a couple spots up for the beginning of the race. What I'm really am most interested in is like those top three. I think somebody like Wid, who's already our points leader, he could really hold some points away from somebody and keep them out of the finals if he does well in tonight's race. So, he's still got some pretty good, pretty good reasoning to go out there and put his best up, even though he's clinched his spot.
I got you. And it looks like we've got Shaggy Dude jumping on into the pits to get a fresh set of rubber and get back out there. Little over 2.5 minutes left of this qualifying session. It's anybody's game, and we could definitely see a good amount of last-minute upsets, given that, well, they did it in the Division A race last week. We jump on board with MK Maskawala, who is a free agent driving on the Logitech G Pro wheel. Current overall standing is P17, and you can find him on YouTube at Maskawala, all one word. And he is just zooming right now. Now, Leo, you're pretty fond of this track, are you not? Or is it one of those love it or hate it kind of things?
Tune, it's kind of a hit or miss, I do like quite the few high downforce cars here. So Group 2, Group 1, the Super Formulas. Also the Group 3s, depending on what tire compound we're allotted. If you could figure out the flow of the track, like I said earlier, like these guys have, and you just get in a rhythm, it is a lot of fun, lots of room to pass. The only downside, I would say, is how strict the track limits are here.
I am inclined to agree with you on that one. The track limits on this one seem a little more harsh than on some of the other tracks. I don't know, maybe that's just me putting a tinfoil hat on. What's your experience with this track, Slomo? Oh, and it looks like we have Wid coming in with a new fastest lap of a 139.828. MK is coming in through the tunnel, and we are approaching the last about 40 seconds of this qualifier. So if anybody's close to finishing, hopefully you can finish that lap so you can get on another hot lap. MK coming across the line, and Dark and Azrael with a half-second penalty. That is definitely not what you want to see when you're in qualifying, especially when you're in the closing moments of it. Dark and Azrael is part of Team Infinite Octane Racing, driving on the Logitech G Pro wheel, and is currently P26 overall. Coming over into the braking zone and getting the car rotating, bringing her on up, kicking up a teensy bit of dirt, but not enough to actually do any harm, and is just holding on to everything he can as we jump on board with the True Serum up in P3. Truth is coming on over the bridge into the second tunnel, and is currently about 700ths off his personal fastest lap, but that's an easy rectification if you just kind of piece it together, so I'm not counting anybody out here. Truth coming in through the chicane and belting it out onto the onto the bridge for the last time in this qualifying session. Into the tunnel and holding a rather solid line, if I'm honest. It's good to see that this car will actually let you hold it flat, and coming across the line with a 146.42 600ths off his fastest, but a damn fine showing nonetheless. And Slow-mo, do we still have anybody out on track? Oh, and it looks like we've got Shaggy Dude coming across the line with a 145.18 to take P5 at the last second. That's barely 100th of a second behind Talent, and here we have MK. Oh my goodness, taking P3.
Oh, man, look at that.
Run.
Wow.
And again, last minute upsets, folks. That still counts. I do believe that is everybody. Is it not, Slow-mo?
Yeah, I believe that's everybody.
All right, that was an insane qualifier. Win with a stellar Qualifying lap 139.828. That is definitely nothing to scoff at.
Yeah, and on top of that, Velvet Thunder got himself a pretty good lap right there at the end and put himself in 4th place. So, boy, as you get to the end and these things start to lose a little bit of fuel, these guys were really getting around the track quick.
That they were. It's staggering what these drivers could do. Honestly, they're world-class drivers. These guys just absolutely kill it when they come in and race. But let's go and take a look at those classified qualifying results, shall we? So taking P1 will be Wid with a 139.828. Usurping Purple Perp 44 for P1. Purple Perp had a personal fastest lap of 140.228. 4/10 on the dot behind Wid. Followed by MK, who pulled that last-minute upset to take the P3 spot on the starting grid. Followed by Velvet Thunder in P4, Talon rounding out our top 5, BHG Shaggy Doo 88 in P6, followed by S7R to True Serum, Chief Apollo 11, over onto P9, Dark and Asriel, Lacabra 809, BHR Pelias Pangolin, and PDX Varial not qualifying. I believe that might have been due to a penalty from last week's festivities, but it doesn't matter how you start, it matters how you finish, and it's anybody's race for this one. What a qualifier. And we have 20 laps of racing on this. I don't think my heart can take it. What about you, Slomo?
Oh, I'm looking forward to this. I'm kind of rooting for Shaggy. He's back there in 6th. We haven't really seen him on the podium yet this season. Love to get him in the booth here for interview after the race. But he's got a lot of people he's got to compete with that have quite a bit of talent. So we got to see how this one finishes.
Yes, indeed. Leo, what about you?
Man, yeah, again, another very tight race, I believe, that we're about to see here shortly. These high downforce cars always are a blast and can provide very close racing until you get really close to somebody and you get the car unsettled from that. So we'll see if that plays a factor at all into that.
Oh, yeah, these cars are very much subject to dirty air, are they not?
They are.
Well, anyway, let's see how everything shakes up. Everybody is lined up. Just waiting for those lights to go on. Holding on to that handbrake, getting ready to rev the engine. Lights are on. Semifinal. This is pretty much for all the marbles, and they are off. Looks like Purple Perp had a less than stellar start, which will allow Velvet Thunder to jump up and take P2. What is that? 2 positions gained just on the start of the race. Well done to Velvet Thunder.
Oh, we got 3 wide going into turn 1.
Oh, wait. Okay, guys, hold on. We just started. Let's catch our breath here. I know a good start is quite nice, but the race isn't won on turn 1, and it is a conga line back there. BHG Shaggy Doo has jumped up into P4 and is about to send it up the inside to take P3 off of Purple Perp. My God, and they're just sending it all to the wall. Leo, what is going on here?
They're fighting for that final position, man. They got to do what they got to do. I'd be fighting too if I was out there. I mean, they're pushing all the limits that they can and then some, and trying to just fight their way to the top.
I get that, but at what cost? Slow-mo, we had a stellar start, wouldn't you agree? Oh, and MK get a little squirrely coming into the turn, losing a little bit of position, but looks like no major harm done, no damage, and MK is fighting on back up. Yep, it's like top thumping over here. MK gets knocked down, but gets right back up again. As we see Dark and Asriel 2 wide with PDX Varial at the moment. And looks like Varial gets a slightly better run out of that corner. And Asriel is trying to find a spot to poke his nose. Varial kicking up a little bit of dirt. And the grid is honestly still really, really close on the opening lap. So something tells me this is going to be a pattern. We got a slight little break between P6 and P7. Well, let's go and take a look at the replay of the race start. Yep, Purple Perp had just a slightly off start, and that let Velvet Thunder jump and take 2 positions and start in P2. That I honestly, if I were Velvet Thunder, I'd be grinning from ear to ear seeing that. Looks like Velvet Thunder's jumped into P3. Shaggy Doo sent it and took P2 off him. Yeah, Shaggy is driving like a man on a mission right now. My goodness. We have the True Serum trying to find an opportunity to, I guess, get past Purple Perp right now. And Leo, is it me or is Shaggy driving with a lot more gusto than we're used to seeing from him?
You know, a little bit. Maybe this is the combo that favors him pretty well. So I would think he's feeling pretty comfortable in doing this one. I mean, he is the man that does anything differently, and well, this is kind of different. We've never seen Group 2 on a daily race here that I know of, to my knowledge.
I gotcha.
Yeah.
Now, oh, go ahead, Sloma.
Yeah, I was going to say Shaggy is one of the 2 cars on track right now that has mediums. Shaggy and MK are the only 2 cars on track on mediums. Everybody else took the hard compound for start.
I was actually about to ask you to go through the grid and tell me who started on what, because I'm seeing a lot of hard. So, obviously, like, that's going to mean people are going to pit. Because surely, even though our NRL drivers, as I said, are world class, I don't believe a no-stopper is possible on those hards. I mean, if they were, I think Shaggy'd be running them. And MK sending it up the inside on Dark and Asriel and is trying to take P10. They are too wide as they are just ever approaching the downhill hairpin. Oh, wow, it is a pretty heated battle back here. My goodness. Will anybody try and be cute and make a move up the inside? It does not appear to be so. Dark and Asriel will hold on to P10 for the time being. Let's go jump on board with Shaggy Doo, who is currently chasing down Wid like there is no tomorrow. Delta showing 8/10 and now into the 7/10 category. Yeah, I think Shaggy's absolutely sending it lap 3, but those tires are showing some wear and tear already. So it might be a 10-10. Honestly, do we have a tire strategy graphic? I'm getting word from production that those have been retired, at least for the time being, so we're going to have to leave it all to speculation. And Shaggy coming up into the chicane. One good run out of here would set him up to go 2 wide with Wid, and he got a pretty solid run. That gap is now just half a second. I don't know what Shaggy is on, but my goodness, he is flying right now, Leo.
He definitely is, man. Like I said earlier, it's probably a combo that favors him in all the right ways. I mean, this is a track that he does like quite a lot from what I know. As he takes the fastest lap at the moment. Let's see what he does here in turn 1. Very nice. Gently going through there. Shaggy is still on controller and uses automatic transmission still. So he is that quick doing all the out-of-the-box stuff, you shall say.
Yep, and now Shaggy did outbrake himself into turn 1, but it didn't slow him down too much. Looks like, yeah, we might see a heated battle between Wid and Shaggy, and if they get into it enough, then that'll slow them down to where Velvet Thunder could jump into the fray, and we might have a 3-way bout into the battle for the race victory. Wouldn't you agree?
Oh, I definitely would. I mean, if these two start battling like this, it would definitely give Velvet Thunder a chance to catch up. I mean, yes, it's a 2-second gap between him and Shaggy, but they start fighting it out, that gap will come down very quickly as we see Shaggy just barely touch the wall there.
He did, but no damage.
Yeah, luckily no damage, and I'm wondering something, Toon, and you're gonna have to go with the tinfoil hat again. Will Shaggy do a 2-stopper?
Given his tire wear, I would actually, I'd be surprised if he didn't. Because we're on lap 4 of 20, haha, funny numbers. And his tires are about halfway gone already. And they are literally too wide, and Shaggy will take the lead for the time being. He's got all this speed, but at what cost? As we see Dark and Asriel go into the box. Do you think Shaggy might be pushing the car a little too hard, Slow-Mo?
I don't think so. No, he seems to be doing a good job. Like you said, he just maybe kind of outbroke himself a little bit on that last lap coming into this turn here. But he seems to have full control of that vehicle. Yes, he is wearing his tires out a little bit quicker. I got to disagree with you guys. I don't think he does a two-stop. I think he's going to run these mediums pretty far and then just go on to the hards. Remember, the hard compound is the requirement here. So he's definitely got to touch that compound.
That he does. So, oh, right. Yeah. I honestly forgot that the hards were the required compound for a moment. Okay, so Shaggy might just be pushing the mediums to get as much of a gap as humanly possible then. And as we jump on board with Talon, who's about a second and a half behind Purple Perp and just over a second ahead of MK. But MK is the other medium runner, is he not?
Yes, Tim, that's correct.
Okay, so we've got a good little margin here. MK, who is currently in the heat of it, and Shaggy, who is just taken the race lead for the time being. It's going to be interesting to see how this shakes up. Honestly, we're on lap 5, and I'm seeing a lot of wear on some of these hard tires.
Yeah, and Wade is just sniffing Shaggy's tailpipe at the moment. I think he's going to make a move going down the straight to try and take that inside from him on turn 1, and it looks like he's got that door closed. So we have a new race leader, and it's Wade again.
Thank you, Slow-Mo. Let's see, Polias Pangolin trying to find an opportunity to overtake PDX Varial. La Cabra has gone into the box.
It looked like Polias backed off there, didn't he?
It did. But that might be to Polias' advantage, too, given how he was quite quick to get almost door-to-door with Varial. Then again, Varial also does have that half-second penalty, so it would be wasted energy to try and battle with somebody who's going to be losing the position here in just under a minute anyway.
Yeah, Toon, I believe he may have been doing that to get out of the dirty air and trying to go in that turn.
Yeah, Ben, let's take a look at the overtake for P1. So, Wid and Shaggy 2 wide. Wid has the inside and just shoots it up the inside, parks it on the apex, and belts her on out. Yep, Wid definitely had an exuberant response to what Shaggy did, so we are in for an insane race for the race lead. Jumping back on board with P1 and P2, looks like Wid is starting to get into the rhythm and pull away. Shaggy's tires are not looking too hot, if I am 100% honest.
No, not at all, Tim. I mean, those are beat up. He's probably got, I don't know, Leo, what do you think? 1-2 more laps on those mediums before they turn into, like almost like wet compound slicks. They get nasty fast when they start to deteriorate.
I would say he's probably got 2 laps minimum. So he's either going to have to pit this coming lap or the next. And if I was him, I would have pitted this lap because I would not like how that would feel. And you'd be losing so much time just to keep the car under control.
All right. Now, the question to both of you, maybe one of you could remind me, is the pit stop for this a long one or is it actually relatively short?
I feel like it's a little bit longer than we've seen in some of the past races. It's not a quick in and out, if I remember correctly.
But is it Watkins Glen long?
I don't know for a fact. Leo, do you remember exactly how long this one is? We're about to find out. Shaggy's going to have to go in here soon.
I want to say it's like in the medium range. It's not short, but not super long like Watkins Glen is. It's kind of in the middle. I'm racking my brain trying to think maybe 20 seconds, maybe. I guess we'll find out here shortly if he ends up going in like you said.
Well,
and in the meantime, with that deterioration, you'll see Velvet Thunder's caught up to Shaggy with no problem.
That he has, and Wade has pulled away quite hastily as well. So coming in through the tunnel, looks like Shaggy will be going into the box, which will give Shaggy which will give Velvet Thunder P2 for the time being. And Talon coming across the line, about to take P6. Shaggy's still in the pits. Slum, are you on board with Shaggy right now?
I am, yeah. He's just coming out of the pits now.
Okay, did you get a chance to see what the time was in there?
I didn't see the actual pit time, but I think Leo had it about nailed. It was, 17 to 20 seconds, somewhere in that neighborhood.
Okay, did Shaggy grab fuel while he was in there, Slow-Mo?
He did not.
He did not. Okay, so we don't have to worry about fuel then. Also, it seems Varial has a half-second track limits infringement. Shaggy getting a little squirrely out of the hairpin on those cold hard tires. But looks like he will be able to at least take P7 off of Varial once that penalty hits. So at this rate, just maintain focus and keep on trucking. Jumping on up the grid, taking a look at S7R to True Serum, who's about a second and a quarter behind Velvet Thunder at the current moment. Coming across into the tunnel. Not outbraking himself, getting the rotation on the car, but not too much to cause power oversteer. Into the chicane, avoiding the curb and the pollard. And onto the bridge, heading into the tunnel for the 8th time. Looks like Velvet Thunder might be able to pull away for the time being, unless... Oh, and Velvet Thunder and Truth... Yep, they both go into the pits. Odd to see Hards only last 8 laps. Oh, and we've also got MK going into the box, which means Talon will jump all the way up to P3, taking 3 positions in one fell swoop. It's so weird seeing all the tire wear on the hard tires of all things.
Well, and that's what that new tire model tune. They've gotten it tuned up to where it actually shows you more tire wear than what you had before. I mean, yes, it was only, can someone remind me what the tire was, where it was on this one?
9 times.
I'm getting word from production, it was 9 times. That is quite high now, when it used to be quite low. I mean, there were certain cars you had to crank it up to like 50 times just to get it to show anything. So with these new, on the sports tires, yeah, you're right. So, I mean, 9 times tire wear makes things go quickly now.
That it does, and it looks like Dark and Azrael is trying to find a way to make a play and overtake PDX Varial for P7. Got a little squirrely out of that braking zone, but looks like is holding onto it as best as possible. Now, Dark and Azrael is part of Team Infinite Octane Racing on the Logitech G Pro wheel and is currently P26 overall and had a nice brush with Barry R, but didn't sustain any damage, thankfully. Coming up into the tunnel, yeah, looks like Azrael is just getting closer and closer to Varial. The pressure is now on. Will Varial cave under the pressure? Does not appear to be so. Ooh, Azrael getting squirrely out of the chicane. That's definitely going to cost him some time, and that's going to buy Pelias the opportunity to possibly make an overtake in the tunnel. Will it be enough, though? Pangolin is in the slipstream and also has rear damage. Oh, don't know how that happened. Must have lost control of the car from what I can gather. Coming into turn 1, Sun is going away a little bit. And back off they go. It lapped. Alright, jumping on board with Shaggy Doo and all the way up in P6 and is saying hello to S7R's The Truth Serum. Given the tire wear on the hards for Shaggy, will it be enough to last him the remainder of the race, Slow-Mo?
That's a good question. If anybody can do it, I think Shaggy's the one. And honestly, taking the mediums first kind of puts him in a position to have the undercut here where, the Truth Serum's got a new set of hards. Velvet Thunder has a new set of mediums. And then you look at Talon and Purple Perp and Wid, who are all going to have to hit the pits here soon to get off that first set of hard compound.
Oh yeah, I definitely see what you mean now. And that should not be happening to hard tires. That's a foreign concept to me. I am sorry. And will Wood be going into the box? Yes, he will.
Well,
Which means Purple Perp will not be too far behind.
he's following suit. Yep.
Yep. And honestly, I do not believe anybody's going to take any fuel.
Talon says he's going to drive on by.
Wait, huh?
Talon has skipped the pits for this lap.
Is Talon going?
Place.
Okay, Talon takes the race lead for the moment and is going for what I can only assume is an overcut. A bold strategy, but if you can make it work, hey, make it work. I think Talon's going to take a page out of Shaggy's book and run those tires until there's nothing left and then go into the box.
Bold strategy, Cotton.
Yeah, bold strategy, Cotton. Let's see how it plays out. And it looks like Wid is actually catching up to Talon rather quickly as well. The difference in tire life possibly on display here. Talon is holding on for dear life though, and looks like the sun has gone away for the most part, so that should cool the track off a tiny bit, shouldn't it, Leo?
Of course, dude. It should. As the tire temperature starts dropping, less grip on the track. I don't know if GT7 has that, deep level of detail in it, but I have noticed on some of them where it has been kind of the afternoon, night-ish times that it doesn't have as much grip as it once did. So that might play a factor, especially with it being the hard compound and the medium compound.
I also noticed that Talon has his turn signal on. Do you think he was signaling to Wid, hey, go around, or do you think that may have been a misclick?
He may have been telling him he was going into the pits.
I see. Great show of situational awareness and sportsmanship to signal the car behind the, hey, I'm getting out of your way, hang on. And that also propels Shaggy 2 back up to P4, so he's fighting his way through, and it looks like Talon will hop onto the mediums. And is already out of the pits, too. Wow, that was blindingly quick. We jump on board with Velvet Thunder, who is sending it up the inside to take P1 for the moment. Velvet Thunder is a free agent driving on the Fanatec DD Plus. Needs 23 points to auto-clinch a spot in the finals. You can find him on YouTube and Twitch at Tuzzumbox. Now, basically from what I can gather is Tuzzum would need the race win to make it to the finals. Am I mistaken in that assumption, Slow-Mo?
I'm sorry. Who was the question for?
Velvet Thunder, who needs 23 points to auto-clinch a spot in the finals.
Yeah, I mean, that's you got to be up in the top 2 to get that number.
All right, well, it's definitely make or break for Velvet Thunder, and it looks like he is going to lay his cards on the table for this one. But Wid is staying relatively close behind, and who got the better run? It looks like Wid may have, but that could also be Slipstream. Notice Velvet Thunder is starting to take a more defensive position on the field, so it looks like he's not going to let Wid through without a fight. Wid jumping back into Slipstream as they approach turn 1 and almost getting side by side on the outside. Is that going to be the right call though if you're Wid? They're separated by 1,000th of a second, now a quarter of a second. It looks like Velvet Thunder will hold on as Dark and Asriel goes into the pits. Velvet Thunder is driving as defensive as humanly possible, but that might slow them both down. Wid is all over that man. Wid is trying to find the perfect opportunity to slip on through and retake the race lead. This is going to be a battle for the ages, especially if True Serum and Shaggy do catch up. It's gonna be an all-out tavern brawl.
Yeah,
I agree with that one too.
Wid's on the hards, and you've got Velvet Thunder on the mediums. And those mediums, obviously, we know you're gonna have a little bit more tire degradation there. They're going away quick, so it's got to make you wonder: can he get through these last 6.5 laps with those medium tires, or is he going to be slipping and sliding and letting Wid drive right by?
Yep. And as we jump on over to Maskwala, who is in P6 at the moment, Talon very close behind. Two very, very fast drivers. And it looks like Talon is going to send it up and take P6 off of MK. And as they go into the tunnel, will MK try and send it up the inside? No, MK will not. So very well done on the overtake from Talon as they come into the chicane for the 13th time.
Oh, and it looks like we've got Wid slipping by Velvet Thunder up front now.
We do, and looking at Velvet Thunder's tires, I can kind of understand how that happened. Those tires are falling off rather quickly. They've got 6 laps left. Will those mediums be enough to hold on to the fight for P1?
And I stand corrected, Shaggy has been back through the pits. Two-stopper, he's on mediums.
Oh, that's interesting. And it looks like Witt had a good run out of the tunnel and was able to make the overtake on the start-finish straight. If it was a drag race, that would have been one way to finish this race. But luckily, there's still plenty of action left to happen as we have 6 laps left. And it looks like Truth is slowly closing that gap to almost under 3 seconds. So we might see, hopefully, a 3-way battle for the race win, should everything fall in accordance. Now, it looks like Truth has about an 8-second gap between himself and Purple Perp. So plenty of breathing room behind him. Actually, quite a bit of breathing room in front of him, too. So, and looking at Truth's lap times, it's actually rather consistent, too. 41, 41, 41, 54, 44, 41, 41, 41. Yeah, Truth is being ridiculously consistent right now. Wouldn't you agree, Leo? Like, that's some insane timing.
Yeah, Toon. I mean, some places consistency is key. If you can keep that going while these other guys are fighting, you'll find out that you'll catch up to them very quickly, and that's what it looks like the True Serum has done, as we see Velvet Thunder going into the pits to hop on another set of mediums? Question mark?
Yep, that would appear to be the case. But that is also going to spit Velvet Thunder out with MK and Talon. And they definitely have at least some heat in their tires, so that will put Velvet Thunder at least at a minor disadvantage for a little bit. Also notice the traction control for MK kicking on and keeping that car pointed in the right direction. The Shaggy has fallen into P7 after that second pit stop. Do you think we'll see any more pit stops come in slow-mo as you're cycling through the grid?
That's a good question, Toon. I think maybe, but I highly doubt it at this point. I think, from what I'm seeing, I think everybody's got enough tire to get them to the end of the race. Damage could obviously change that. If somebody hits a wall or another car, they might want to go in and get that repaired. But I would, if I was on track right now, I'd be trying to get these last 5 laps done without having to stop.
I agree with you completely. Now, as we see Velvet Thunder onto the bridge with MK jumping onto the defensive line out of the corner. Will Velvet Thunder try and jump up the outside? And he does, and makes it stick. If this were an Olympic gymnast showing, that'd be 10s across the board. He stuck the landing. And Velvet Thunder is flying. Oh my goodness. Bye, MK. Wow.
Remember when you said mediums question mark? Well, that's why right there.
Yeah. Oh my goodness, yeah. Velvet Thunder is just zooming right now.
I will say MK did have a less than stellar run out of that chicane there.
Yeah, but looks like Velvet Thunder will be trying to close that gap to Talon as fast as humanly possible. Now, let's, I gotta ask you, Slow-Mo, how's the main man of conversation, Shaggy, faring in his battle up the grid?
He's back in 7th. It looks like he just got himself a half second. I'm assuming maybe touching the wall or just getting a little bit too far off track there. It definitely wasn't contact with anybody or anything like that. He is trying to close on MK, and he has absolutely just gone purple. So He's not given up just yet. He knows there's 3.5 laps left, and he's going to push this car. He's zoom zoom is probably what he's thinking right now. Wait, that's Mazda. Sorry.
I think it was Mitsubishi.
Oh no, it's definitely the Mazda.
Okay, so don't know cars yet. I'm a motorsport commentator. What am I doing here? I don't know. They found me on the street.
Hey, I messed it up first. Don't feel bad.
It's okay. We're all confused here, especially because this is a Nissan. But anyway, as we see MK currently just doing, getting a little squirrely actually. I was gonna say driving comfortably, but let's go take a look at Velvet Thunder, who is right back up with Talon. Will there be enough time to close the gap between himself and Purple Perp? No, we're going to have to see. We have 3 laps left. Velvet Thunder sets a lap of a 140.079. That's almost 139 territory right there.
And Toon, he's got a huge tire advantage over Talon right now. I mean, Talon's got worn mediums. Velvet Thunders are still pretty fresh for the most part. Boy, he's putting up the fastest lap. Obviously, he's only got, a quarter of a tank of gas. So Velvet Thunder is pushing that bad boy right now.
Yeah, and it looks like Talon is going to do everything he can to keep Velvet Thunder at bay, though. But it's got to hope it doesn't slow him down too much. Velvet Thunder did see a bit of an opportunity, but would not have been advantageous to go through that gap. As we see Velvet Thunder getting that gap to himself and Talon at just about half a second. It's gonna be a hard fought position for Velvet Thunder and Talon. At this rate, they're both gonna be gripping onto it like it's the most aggressive game of tug of war they have ever played. Now, will Talon jump onto the defensive line, or will he try and go up the outside like, what was it? Like Velvet Thunder did to MK? It looks like holding the outside was the correct move. But it looks like Velvet Thunder may have had a slightly better run out of that chicane. And, don't know what that was. But Velvet Thunder is definitely not gonna give up yet. Talon isn't gonna give up either. They're going head to head right now. As they come into P1, Velvet Thunder's gonna try and shoot up the inside. Will he be able to make it stick though? And it looks like he does. So Velvet Thunder sends it up the inside in turn 1, is able to take P1 off of Talon. Unfortunately, there was nothing Talon could do to stop that, but he fought with everything in him. Well played, and there's still 2 laps left, so go and take that spot back, Talon. You've got this in you.
Yeah, Toon, Velvet putting himself in P4, and obviously now he's looking up ahead at Purple Perp. Again, a big tire difference between those 2 cars. Velvet has the advantage, so he's definitely putting in some nice, good times right now, and I think he's got as good a chance as anybody to climb up this grid a little further.
I am definitely inclined to agree with you there, Slow-Mo. And I mean, if you're in Velvet Thunder's position, I don't blame you for absolutely giving it the beans, because like it's pretty much P1 or 2 or bust. So it's good to see our racers driving with such purpose, and it's just, how many of these drivers are going to be sitting there thinking, oh, if this race was only a little bit longer? Because when you're in the heat of the moment, it's hard telling what's going through some of these drivers' heads. They could be having the time of their life right now. They could be giving everything they've got. They could just be, getting down to business as usual. It's just so hard to tell what these drivers are thinking, because it's like they're dancing around this circuit like it's second nature.
Yeah, Toon, and actually, if you look at the front of the pack, for example, the True Serum, he's on his set of hards. He's low on gas. He could lose traction. Hopefully nothing goes wrong. He can close this out here and take his second place home. He's got a really nice gap between him and Purple Perp, but that could all change in a heartbeat if you put this car into the wall.
Yep, and we are on the penultimate lap, checking in on La Cabra, who just sent it up the inside on PDX Varial and was able to secure P9 and get back on to really playing catch-up. La Cabra's fuel light, though, is on. Will it be enough to last this lap and the next one? That's only time will tell. We jump on board with Velvet Thunder, who is already about a second and a half-ish near Purple Perp. Then, from one battle to another, Velvet Thunder is not going to rest until this race is over. Coming into the chicane for the 19th time. Getting a little squirrely, so I don't know if that's going to be enough to successfully make an overtake, but looks like it's not going to hinder him too much as he is in Purple Perp's slipstream from what I can gather, and they are heading towards the start-finish line. If I'm Purple Perp, I'm trying to figure out how I'm going to defend against Velvet Thunder for an entire lap. As they start the final lap and come up into turn one, looks like Velvet Thunder will not be able to send it up the inside. So Purple Perp will be able to breathe a sigh of relief in that regard. And one's playing a game of catch up, the other one's playing a game of keep away. Who's going to win? This downhill hairpin is definitely a spot where you could try and make a move, but I don't think the gap is tight enough to be able to make it. What about you, Leo?
That's correct too. I mean, he's sitting about almost we'll call a full second back, unfortunately, as we're hopping on board with Shaggy here. See what happened if something did.
It's just Shaggy making the overtake on MK.
Oh, okay.
That's your thing.
Very nice. Back to Velvet Thunder here, and Purple Perp. He's looking for every opportunity and hoping that he makes a mistake so he could sneak on by is what I would be thinking that he's going to try. It's either this corner or the chicane that he can make it through.
Yep, and that gap is falling down to a quarter of a second too, so...
Yeah, he was definitely using the slipstream to do that.
Yeah, if I'm Purple Perp, I'm going to be thinking of every way I can defensively drive to keep an ironclad run, because this is where it's make or break. And Wid comes across the line in dominant fashion and takes the race win.
Very nice.
Jumping back on board with Velvet Thunder and Purple Perp. It's going to be a drag race to the start.
It's a drag race.
No, it's going to be a drag race to the finish line. Who's going to take it? Who has the better momentum? It will be Purple Perp.
It's Purple Perp.
6 thousandths of a second to take the last spot on the podium. Well done, Purple Perp. My goodness, that is a photo finish. As we see Dark and Azrael come across the line, securing P8, La Cabra will be able to comfortably take P9. It looks like Chief Apollo is actually not too far behind either. Chief Apollo coming across the line. Oh, go ahead.
Looks like La Cabra coasted across on fumes, too. I mean, these guys ran it so close at the end.
Yeah. My goodness, what a finish.
Isn't that right?
All right, now let's go and take a look at the provisional race results, shall we? So, taking the race victory will be Wid with a total race time of 34 minutes, 13 seconds, .085. Coming in P2 will be S7R to True Serum, followed by Purple Perp, and the man with the fastest lap, Velvet Thunder, with a 140.079, mind you. 6 thousandths of a second separating Purple Perp and Velvet Thunder as they cross the line. It was an insane finish. We've got Talon rounding out our top 5, followed by PHG Shaggy Doo 88, MK, Dark and Azrael. Making our way down the grid, we have La Cabra 809, Chief Apollo 11, BHR Pelias Pangolin, and PDX Varial rounding out our race for this evening. What a semi-final race we had tonight. This has been absolutely mental. Slow-mo, what are your thoughts on what we witnessed tonight?
As always, what a great showmanship of these guys' skills. This is not an easy track and car. They made it look easy though. Just driving through this track, so smooth, hitting all the apexes. Great competition, side by side racing through here. Man, that was incredible.
I couldn't agree more. That was an incredible race. Leo, what are your thoughts on what we saw?
Just like slow mo sled. I mean, them two, everybody going side by side. I mean, you couldn't ask for a better race than that. Even when the cars did get spread out, the amount of downforce and slipstream that they were able to capitalize on to catapult themselves into turn one and get that inside. I saw it many a times where someone would do that, and it was just a fantastic showing of what these guys have practiced and the knowledge that they have of the car and track combo. It's fantastic, and it was a great race.
That it was, but let's go and get a word in with our podium finishers, starting with Purple Perp 44. Perp, how you feeling?
Ooh, I'm shaking.
I don't blame you. So run me through that last lap. Velvet Thunder started about 8/10 down, and then by the time you guys were finishing the lap, you were 6,000th of a second apart. What was running through your head that lap?
Man, I didn't think that I would ever see him again. They must have been running some other strategy. So people started pitting, and I'm like, why in the world are people pitting so early? So I had no idea how that was going to play into the race because I didn't practice mediums at all. I just ran hards the whole time. So we're getting to the final laps, and I see him slowly getting a 10th here, a 10th there, and by the last lap, I knew he was going to be in slipstream range and it was going to be tough. But I never imagined such a close finish.
Yeah, that was an incredibly close finish, and I wouldn't blame you for feeling a little bit of the jitters on that one. Slow-mo, do you have any questions for Purple Perp?
Yeah, first of all, congratulations on the podium. Well done. Obviously, you said you only ran hards. How many laps did you expect to get out of the mediums? Because towards the end there, I don't know that you know this, but the gentleman behind you had a pretty good tire advantage. But looked like you had enough to hold him off. So what were you thinking to get out of the mediums there?
Yeah, so whenever I did the testing on the mediums for qualifying and stuff, I tried to run them as far as I could. I was hoping to do like a hard medium one stop strat, but I couldn't get more than 6, 7 laps before the mediums just got too slow. So those last couple laps, I'm doing math in my head, like, oh man, what lap did he pit on? How good are his tires? It was nerve wracking to say the least.
Well, you made it look easy, so congratulations. Leo, what do you have for Purple Perp?
Well, congratulations, Perp. Perp. It was fantastic to see a drag race towards the end there. Did you happen to see that you were there for a split second and then it just swapped? I don't even think the game could register how close y'all actually were.
Yeah, I was watching the radar, and I thought for sure he had me. So like coming on to that final straight, all my hopes and dreams got crushed. And then when he went out for the slingshot, I'm like, oh man, he's not gaining as fast as I thought. And I could not tell from the little radar. And then whenever it popped up with third place, oh man, I screamed. If there's anybody sleeping in the house, they're awake now.
I imagine so, as heart pounding and thrilling that is. Well, I'd like to say congratulations again, and I can't wait to see what you do in the next one.
Thank you guys. I'm super excited. I was worried about my status for the final being in 11th overall. So today was a relief. I want to thank the BHR crew and thank my brother. If it wasn't for him, I probably wouldn't be racing NRL.
Well, congratulations, Purple Perp. You go relax. I get some apologies ready if you woke anybody up, and you have yourself a great rest of your night.
Yeah, you guys too. Thanks for putting on a great race.
All right, making our way up. Let's go and talk to the Truth Serum. Truth, how you feeling after that?
Very good.
Glad to hear it. So you had quite the quiet race from what we saw, and you were able to take P2, and your consistency was just insane. How much practice did you put into this race throughout the week?
I'd say an average amount. I can't remember, not like an insane amount, but I did a few practice runs, did some laps when I could, and very quickly found the rhythm with this car. So.
Alrighty, Slow-mo, any questions?
Yeah, True Serum, great race today. That was a lot of fun to watch. I was kind of riding along with you towards the end of the race there. And those tires looked a little worse for wear. Your fuel looked low. At any point were you worried that you had the wrong strategy?
No, not the wrong strategy, but my tires were strangely worn by lap 15, which didn't happen in practice. Even when I did the 9 and 11 undercut thing, which was what I did. So they were a little bit more ropey. So I started driving a little differently just to make them last, and they lasted. But the fuel was fine, but the tires were. I was losing a bit of time to the guy, but I had a large enough cushion that it didn't matter. I was pretty confident it'd be fine. But yeah, they were a little bit worn out.
Yeah. Well, hey, you had a really good cushion, and that's when a perfect strategy is playing out well. So congratulations, Leo. What do you have for Truth?
I just want to say congratulations to True Serum. Fantastic race from you. I'm going to touch on something that Toon just said a little while ago. How important to you is consistency? Because you, like he said, it was 41s on down the line pretty much. Is that something you kind of strive for?
Yeah, I had a game plan before. I knew I could do the odd 40 if I went harder, but I tried to just spread out the consistency indefinitely. I'm watching that when I'm driving. I try to keep it within 2/10, which is like almost impossible over an entire thing, but I try to keep as close as possible because that has a lot of benefits to it because you get like the muscle memory and everything. So I'd rather be consistently fast than occasionally rapid, if that makes sense. You know what I mean? So so that was that. So that was really fun.
Well, again, congratulations. It's always fantastic to see you all out there. So,
yeah, congratulations to everybody, to Wid, another great race by Wid. I'm not surprised, and to Perp and everybody else. Thanks.
Thank you.
Well done, Truth.
Yep. Thank you.
All right, let's go and have a word with our race winner and Wid. Wid, how you feeling?
I'm feeling pretty good. Very satisfied with how that turned out. Congrats to Truth Serum and Purple Perp, and I want to give a special shout out to Velvet Thunder and Shaggy. We had some great racing on track, even though we were on different strategies. It was a fun race.
All right. So I saw you and Shaggy having a pretty solid bout at the start of the race, and then the pits started going in. Did you expect to see Shaggy fight back up and continue the battle for P1, or did you think after he went into the pits that was job done?
I knew it was job done as long as I didn't crash. When I saw him make up a bunch of places and then start catching up to me pretty quick, I knew he was on mediums and I knew he'd be pitting pretty quick. And as soon as basically I retook the lead from him, I kind of knew that I didn't really have to worry too much about him just because of how that strategy would play out, because I'd practiced a decent amount and that was one of the strategies I tried.
All right, I gotcha. Slow-mo, any questions for our race Victor?
Wid, first of all, congratulations. You have solidified, even before tonight's race, your place in the finals. I'm sure you're excited to see what that track and car combo is going to be. You tore this one apart today. It looked like it was a perfectly executed plan from you. Tell us a little bit about, coming into the race. What was your goal? You didn't really have anything to lose. You had already solidified your spot. So what were you shooting for? Were you, obviously trying to win, but did you expect it to be the way that it played out tonight?
I knew that I could do pretty well. I mean, my goal was obviously to win, but I mean, I think that how many points you have affects where you start in the final round. You can correct me if I'm wrong on that, but so I really wanted to solidify that spot. I mean, last week when you guys introduced the combinations for this race, I was really excited because I personally love these modern Group 2 cars. So I was fairly confident. A lot of people were really close, and I was very nervous in that qualifying session because I was having a tough time putting a lap down, but it kind of all came together.
Yeah, well done, and you are correct. There is no qualifying for the finals, so those points will determine where you start. Leo, what do you have for Wid tonight? Good luck in the finals, by the way.
Thank you.
Well, congratulations, Wid. It's fantastic seeing what you did out there. My question would be, you said this strategy. How many other strategies did you come up for this race prior?
So I had tested a whole bunch of I don't want to say a whole bunch of different combinations, but it was mainly testing to see whether how long or how short I could cut a hard stint if I wanted to do 2 medium stints and just do a 2-stop. And basically, I just found that doing a 1-stop hard was the fastest overall and would kind of eliminate the, traffic variable if I was coming up on people and had to make up places. But I also, close second was that for me was a 6 hard, 7 medium strategy. That wasn't too far behind. But again, pitting so early, you have to deal with a lot of traffic coming out. So I didn't really want to deal with that. Plus, it was a tiny bit slower anyway. So I didn't really see any other option besides hard.
I gotcha. Well, again, fantastic to see you out there. And with the win, just wanted to congratulate you on that. And we'll see you in the final.
Appreciate it. I'm really looking forward to it. And congrats again to Truth and Purple Perp. That was a really fun evening. So have a good night, guys.
You too, Wid. Go rest and relax.
Thanks.
All right, everybody. We're going to take another intermission. So sit tight and we'll be back at you here in a few minutes. All right, welcome back, everybody. It's time we go and take a look at the provisional standings for the Division A and B across both days, starting with Division B. So, again, these are provisional and also have not taken into consideration tomorrow's racers. So, leading the way for Division B at the moment is Thumpy with a whopping 56 points, followed by Racer 51 with 48. Cyrus Nicky GT with 44, who is a Saturday driver. Parquet and W Fishtail tied at the moment for P4. Parquet is a Saturday driver, with Sugar Shovels in P6 with 26 points. PHG Lead Pencil with 25, a Saturday driver. Followed by PHG Papa in P8, Rowdy Rooster in P9, PHG Bells in P10, Salamander MN in P11 with 20 points. Followed by Angry Fredbird, Racecraft 01, and Jesser, all Saturday drivers. Making our way through the grid, we have Luis with 15 points, Zilla and Bandit in P16 with 13 points, as they are Saturday drivers. PHG Skellington in P16 as well with 13 points, followed by Redneck C137, followed by Stumpy, MD Hop, who is a Saturday driver, and then a three-way tie right now between Horn of Plenty, Captain Thunder, and Fenrir. Horn of Plenty and Captain Thunder are Saturday drivers, followed by Johnny Boy, who is also racing on Saturday. We have Buck Wild with Nilpois, as with Sweet Lou Sainus, who is a Saturday driver, and P. Rosal, also a Saturday driver, rounding out our grid in P28. Making our way over to Division A. Leading the charge right now in dominant fashion is Wid with an astounding 66 points, followed by the True Serum with 38, MMR Moose 21, a Saturday driver, with 37, who is tied with Chief Apollo at the moment with 37 points. We have Talon rounding out our top 5 with 35 points, followed by Purple Fur 44 with 33. The Kai, Saturday driver, with 29 points, followed by Lisa Salters, who is also racing tomorrow with 28, followed by Velvet Thunder with 27 points, and LaCabra 809 with 26. PHG Banana racing tomorrow, as well as GLK Sneaky, Boku, and Super Uba, also known as Uber Beast. Making our way further through the grid, we have MK in P15 with 14 points, PHG Shaggy with 13, PHG SBC Felmora, and Caper with all Saturday drivers with 10, 9, and 8 points respectively. Ando with 6 points, PDX Varial with 4 points, Arrow US, who is racing tomorrow, with 4 points, Dark and Azrael with 4, PHG Just I Am with 2 points, racing tomorrow, who is tied with BHR Police Pangolin with 2 points, followed by Spawn, who will be racing tomorrow, RWB Nav with Nilpois, and Island Grown, who is racing tomorrow, with 0 as well. Round 3 will continue tomorrow, and we'll have the reveal for the final round. That all kicks off at 1 p.m. Eastern Time in the US, 6 p.m. BST, 10 a.m. Pacific Time. Had to stop and think about that for a second, and just make any conversions to your local time zone as needed. All right, and with that, it's time to bring this to a close. Before we go, Slow-Mo, driver of the day?
Oh boy, driver of the day for me, I got to give it to Thumpy. I think he really put a good quality race in, executed his plan the way he wanted to, and brought himself home a victory.
All right, Leo, driver of the day?
I'm gonna have to say Papa. I mean, he battled his way back up from that unfortunate spin that he had, and just drove like a man on a mission to get back up there. So that's my pick.
All right. Well, you heard it here, folks. Professional unbiased is not a thing, apparently. But with that, we must unfortunately bring this night to an end. It has been an absolute pleasure to have your company. And if you want to catch up with any of us outside of this broadcast, you can catch Leo over here on YouTube, where he plays Gran Turismo, iRacing, and apparently has a strange addiction to Satisfactory. You can find Slow-Mo over here on YouTube as well, where he does GT7, Warzone, and whatever else comes to mind. And you can find me over on Twitch at V2Nix, and I play pretty much whatever I feel like. So Baldur's Gate 3, Golf with Friends, doesn't matter. But yeah, hope to see all of you outside of this broadcast and out in the wild. And until the next broadcast with us, bye-bye for now.